everybody. Welcome to Cousins All In. This is your last show before the Super Bowl. And it kind of rhymes. Give me an intro. Let's go.
Like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, tell your friends, tell your cousins about the Cousins. Let's get right into it, Cuzzy.
Benny Ha-Ha Johnson is on the Bears as the head coach. I'm going to work on trying to get him on the show. I got to hit up Fanatics. I got to tell these guys, hey, I know you've been on holiday, but it's time to get to work. We got to get this guy on the show.
That's right.
What do you think about him being up? I know you called it. How do you feel?
It's so nice to have Johnson in the building. And when I seen him walking through Hallis Hall, I got so excited. I like so far the way this guy's expressing and presenting himself as the head coach. I think so far, like I always say, there's not a lot of good OCs that become head coaches, there is great OCs that don't become great head coaches.
OCs don't translate. At least modern football, OCs
but
have not translated.
He seems to have that juice.
Do you know what I like
of a head coach?
He goes, I'm not going to get a playbook, drop it on the table, and say this is what we're going to do. We're going to rip it to the studs, is what he said, and we're going to build the playbook around who we have and what we have to offer. And I really like that he broke it down like that.
That's beautiful.
That's talk about a guy saying the right things. I don't care if he has a publicist or not. He deserves every dollar from what I've heard so far. But all right, we're going to talk, college football for a second. I'm being asked for a reaction to the 12-team playoff. I was disappointed. That's not what I was hoping for. I want the 12 best teams to be in, and I don't think that was what happened here. Obviously, Notre Dame deserved it. They played great. They deserved to be in. But I'm struggling. I know that conferences get auto bids and all this stuff, but I want the 12 best teams no matter what. I don't care who's an auto bid. I just want the 12 best teams. Do you agree with that?
I do agree. And while every year it's kind of, hey, what could we do to make this process better? What could we do to spice these bowl games up? This, and that. I got to cut the committee some slack because when it was 4 teams, I was talking a lot of shit. I was like, let's see 8 or 6 or 12. Then we seen 12. The 12 didn't look so hot, but I think to your point, the reason it didn't look so good is because it wasn't the 12 best teams. So if you're going to do this, you got to do it the right way.
Or do you give the first 4 teams 1, 2, 3, 4 buys, the best 4, and then you bring in the extra couple teams at the bottom, and then you make them those so the first 4 get a bye, and then it goes up from there.
You could, if you want to do that, everybody gets a trophy type thing where they let all these bum teams in there.
Just to give them a chance.
And if they want to let those teams
so they can make shirts to get sent out?
Yeah.
We made the CFP playoff.
Yeah, CFP.
Yeah. I'm just going to be honest. I was really disappointed. I don't think that I get that Boise State won.
Yeah.
But they didn't deserve to be there. They weren't better than Ole Miss. They weren't better than South Carolina. They weren't better than Alabama. Guys, they would be a double-digit underdog against all 3 teams that I just named, and it wouldn't be by 10. It'd probably be 17 and up. Double digits.
That's the other thing is with the teams that were not in there, you have to think about how those teams could have shaken things up. Big time. Like there's teams like
Ohio
Penn State. Like Penn State got 2. They in a tournament of longevity where you're playing week after week football games. They got 2 cakewalks
layups
before. I mean
SMU.
Yeah.
Then they got
Boise.
It's like they got gifted.
They went in fresh against ND
and lost. And Ohio State was happy about that. They didn't want to face them again, I'll tell you that. All right, whatever. Back to football, NFL football. Divisional recap. Here's what I'm going to tell you. The Eagles didn't win. The Rams lost. That's my hot take. The Commanders upset everybody in the country.
Oh, my.
I mean, you're wearing your Commanders hat. I mean, respect to you. For you to wear that hat after they lost you money.
They deserved it.
They did deserve it.
It was easy for me to put this hat on today, and it was easy for me. I swear to God, one of the easiest losses for me ever was, truthfully, it lasted not longer than the ending of the night for that Detroit team, because I have to say, when I watched that game, it wasn't Detroit gifting the game away. It was the Commanders hungry.
Winning it.
playing with conviction.
Fourth down, we're going.
Winning. Fourth down, we're going. Hey, we're on the road. We don't give a shit about our rookie quarterback being in there. It's 4th and 1. We'll put the ball in his hands.
No problem.
Get a stop.
You can't.
They can't.
Who's a bigger disappointment, the Ravens or the Lions?
It's a great question. I think, you can make a case for both teams, obviously. With the way the game played out, obviously, I felt like, I'm not saying the Lions were never in the game, but the Ravens...
I felt like they were never in the game.
They were never in the game. That's my whole point. I couldn't even get upset.
Maybe for a few minutes, but after that, I wasn't...
No, Vegas was begging people on the
were.
live line.
They were.
Come get some live.
You can get the Lions +3, +3 at the half if you want it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys something. That game was over. Not because of the pick six, but because the pick six ended with Goff getting depleted on his back. I swear to God, at that moment, Washington sent the message. They sent hey, we not only took points away from you, we put your fucking quarterback on his head.
Not only
They
that,
were like,
Can we agree, though, if Patrick Mahomes got hit like Goff did,
they would have called a penalty.
they would have. There might have been There might have been Kansas City Police Department on the field arresting the guy in uniform.
It was head to head.
It was.
But I want to go back to your question.
What?
Because there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that the more disappointment lands on Baltimore.
Yeah.
One of the reasons they outright blew the game themselves.
Sure.
They didn't get beat at all.
I would agree. I would say Buffalo I would say the Ravens lost the game. They didn't. The Bills didn't win it.
Right. They were fortunate that
And
the
also, I
turnovers
think the Lions lost, while it was very upsetting to a lot of people, what really let the Lions off the hook with that L is the amount of adversity that they battled.
All the
people said, well, they're
injuries.
not really at full strength, so they lost.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, but every quarter I was like, Baltimore's going to find a way. They're going to keep moving the ball. They didn't have problems moving the ball.
Baltimore should have won that game 3 times.
Yeah.
I can't argue that. Not even a little bit. I mean, the turnovers were crazy. All right, so here's what's going on. We've got a very interesting matchup coming up, and what's wild is the game line opened at 3.5, and it's already up to 6. We got the Commanders at the Eagles. Like I said, opened at 3.5, is already at 6. I mean, all signs point to the Eagles coming out ahead. I mean, we got any fun statistics on this or anything?
We do. If you were looking for a reason to maybe think that the Commanders have a shot, Dogs this postseason are 7-3 against the spread, and they were 4-0 in the divisional round. So Jaden Daniels has been hot. The Dogs have been spicy as of late, but there's some other numbers that say not so fast. Start rookie quarterbacks that start in conference title games. 0-5 in all time recently. 14.2 points per game. These are rookie quarterbacks. 4 touchdowns passing, 9 picks. And Sirianni's played well against rookie quarterbacks. I know they lost that game 2 against the Commanders, but that was a game, of course, where Jalen Hurts was hurt early in that matchup. And
I mean, it's kind of a crazy matchup, Commanders versus.
Yes.
This is kind of a if you're a Cowboys fan or a Giants fan, this is kind of like a you guys suck bowl.
Yeah,
like we have 2. Our conference has 4 teams. 2 of us are facing in the conference championship. The other 2.
It is crazy.
I mean, right?
But that also speaks volumes about the magnitude of this game. This is a conference NFC championship. These 2 teams, regardless of it being an NFC championship, they hate each other every time they play.
It's going to be an absolute war.
Cousin, you know what kills me, though, about this?
What?
This stat right here that you have down, Danny.
Yeah,
this
what we
stat
got?
right here shows me that when the Eagles are favored, when Sirianni's supposed to be watching film around the clock,
right?
It sounds like he shuts things down around 2:00 in the morning. Look at this stat right here. Sirianni 16-24 against the spread
As a 4-point favorite.
as a 4-point favorite.
Against 4-point favorites.
Right.
That's it. That's interesting.
Yeah. So he's and they're obviously now near touchdown
It
favorite.
makes me feel really good.
Yeah.
Do you have a pick in this game?
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna give you guys this is a Tony teaser special, I call it. I'm gonna give you these 2 things, and they're only gonna combine to a -120, but I love them.
It's okay.
That's
-120 is good.
Daniels for 200 and Washington +14. It sounds free at -120, by the way.
That's so.
Think of it as a single bet.
So Daniels 200 yards.
Yep.
Washington plus 14.
Yes.
I mean, it's hard to hate that.
Right?
It's hard to hate it.
I got to tell you, though, the more I look at this Sirianni stat, the more I think Washington is coming to play. They got two great coaches on that staff.
This is going to be a weird one for me to say to you guys, but I'm going to be taking the under 48 in this game. I'm taking under 48. I think there's going to be a lot of running, and I think there's going to be a lot of clock. Like, I think the Eagles are going to try and control the clock. I think the Commanders are going to try and control the clock. I see both teams just trying to burn 30, 40 seconds at a time. I think I think each team is favored slowing the game down, which sounds crazy, but I believe that if you could keep the Commanders on the field, right? If you're the Commanders coach, you're Dan Quinn, you're saying, I'm going to run the ball so I can keep Saquon on the bench.
Right.
Then you got the Eagles saying, well, if we run the ball, they can't get Daniels can't get out there and get into flow and move around. And, Jalen Carter is a big guy, right?
Yeah.
But he's good to play against a Josh Allen.
Right.
Not a Daniels. Like, that's muscle versus muscle.
Yeah.
Right. Like, good Jalen Carter. Good luck. Go catch that guy.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Athletic.
You know what's funny? I think the Eagles would have rather played the Lions.
Really?
I do.
Because of like the divisional thing, or
I think that
the physicality.
I think that
you think the Lions
first of all,
Jared Goff.
having Allen up front for Washington, having a very, very strong box that Washington has, especially on the defensive line. They have a ton of platoon players on the defensive line.
they do. They cycle them in.
They do. They are able and willing to try and stop the run more so than I believe the Lions would have been able to. To me, the Lions defensively is why they're out of the playoffs. I know Goff made a ton of mistakes, but you can't allow a rookie QB to come in your place and put 40 on the board.
No,
you know what I mean?
No. Yeah, but I'm on the under. I really like it. And you make me like it even more when we talk about the defensive line. And I feel really good about under 48. I love it. And, you rarely hear me say love it. So that's a 6-figure bet for me for sure.
Ooh.
Do you have a pick in this game, Danny?
I lean Philly to win. One last stat.
I can feel that.
Teams that are 4+ point favorites in AFC, NFC title games since 1999. Eagles are 4+ point favorites. They're 10-16 against the spread. And shockingly, 0-3 straight up, meaning we've had a lot of games. Look at last year, low spreads. We get that a lot in conference title games. Look at the Niners-Eagles over the years. Obviously, a lot can happen with injuries. But
I got devastated last year. Lions blew that game against the Niners.
Yep. So it means to be careful with the number for Philly.
Costed me
$700,000. But I do think that trend could switch with them at home against a rookie quarterback. But with that Sirianni stat you mentioned, Tone, I think this
5 for 6 this year too on that.
Yeah, these teams like to run the ball. You want to keep those defenses fresh. I know the Eagles would like to have a fresh defense, but I know the Commanders would love to keep Barkley on the sideline, keep their own defense fresh when the fourth quarter comes. If the Commanders are tired, that's no bueno.
Well, the wildest stat is, we're going to finish this. We're going to go to the next one, and then I'll bring up the wild stat. Next game, Bills at the Chiefs. Talk about, that's what the NFL wanted, right? That's why they gave all the calls to Kansas City and didn't call roughing the passer. Never mind. Whatever. I mean, I bitched about it all year. I'm not going to stop now. All I could say is I think the Taylor Swift train's over.
The Texans bitched about it, to your point.
They just,
right.
But it's because it's just.
And, they did it so classy. Multiple members of their team, they said the same exact thing.
They find.
To a T. They said, hey, you know what? At this point, it is what it is. It's just comedy. You see the officiating. We ain't the only ones who see it.
They fined Joe Mixon $25,000 for that.
Yeah, I know.
$25,000. He's like, I got fined for what other people said. Because you know what the problem is, and I know what I get. Okay, let's play into the narrative. Kansas City, Taylor Swift, Caitlin Clark in the box, good advertising, everything. Viral clips. The problem is the NFL needs to take a good look in the mirror because you're isolating your fan base that actually is with you for the long term for short-term gain. And if that is a thing, I want you to think about it. It's pushing away guys like me and you watching the show. It's pushing us away. It's making us say, well, you know what? This isn't as fun as I used to think it was. Like, it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
Like, if it's not going to be called fair, like, why would I want to watch it? Oh, so, like, my wife could watch the 3-second clip of Taylor Swift at the game? You're pushing away the real fans with this type of action. But I think they know that. So I think Buffalo is going to absolutely hammer Kansas City.
Is that you on Buffalo right there?
Yeah, that's me on Buffalo.
He's on Buff.
Because I think that they want this Kansas City thing to carry them and get them some exposure, but I think the Super Bowl can carry itself, and I think that the Bills hammer the Chiefs, and I think they beat their ass.
I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to give you 2 picks in this game. I'm going to take the Bills on the money line in this game. You know what the NFL needs?
What?
They need the Bills Mafia.
The
Mafia, you know what the Mafia needs? A Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It would only be fair to those people of Buffalo, the loyal fans that jump through tables week after week.
They do.
It would only be fair to you to get this W. I know how much the Bills natives want this. I'm going to give you another Tony 2-team teaser, though. That's going to be the Bills plus 10 and Mahomes 225. That one's also minus 120.
Well, the Mahomes 225 is scary, though, because he hasn't passed the ball for a lot.
He hasn't.
But
and
if they're
you know
down,
what they have him at this week?
What?
250.
So because I think they expect them to be down, which makes me even like the Bills even more, because that's a high total for him, judging by what he's been doing. And also, I'm just so tired of this Kelsey narrative, dude.
Yeah.
I actually need him to just go and run the podcast world, because just get out of the way. I'm done.
Do you see him? He turned the switch on this week.
Yeah.
He's been bumming it for about 18 weeks. He said, I think I'll play today.
Yeah.
Over 100.
Yeah.
Touchdown. He looked unguardable for the first time this season somehow.
Well, here's what I'll tell you. The only thing that scares me is Buffalo has lost 7 straight road games when they're a dog. They're 1-6 versus the spread. So that scares me, but I'm still going to ride Buffalo hard.
I think it's a different Bills team.
Hard.
I'm with you there. I mean, look at most of the games. Sure, they lost to the Ravens early in the year pretty bad, but they beat the Lions. They did beat the Chiefs this season. I feel like this is, maybe it didn't show in the last game, though they found a way to win that game. They usually lose those type of games. I feel like this team's different this year for Buffalo. I'm not saying they're a lock to win the Super Bowl, but I like their chances right now, despite that nugget of losing 7 straight. You look at a lot of those teams for Buffalo that were an underdog on the road. I like this defense a bit. I know they got to do better against the run, but I think it's a decent matchup.
Do you know what's terrifying? It's showing right now that a majority of the money is on the Bills,
Sure.
which terrifies me.
Yeah, we'll see if the number changes. I know it, as of Wednesday night, it was
That
1.5.
is very scary.
I mean, hey, call me a fish. I don't care. I'm taking it. Here's what happened. I've just got beat up all football season so bad that I can't see Kansas City win. Like I have to just double. If they win this game, I gotta fade them again no matter what, even if
sure.
I don't like who I'm facing.
He did this last year.
And I lost $500,000.
But guess what?
What?
A lot of respect to you for continuing to go against this team.
At least you know who I am.
Because you know who you are, exactly. Your identity does not wither from year after year. And I'll tell you another thing. I know the Chiefs fans get upset, but at this point...
The Chiefs fans see it.
I can't watch them win again. I really can't. I can't. It's not. I got nothing against the team, really. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it.
No, it's hard.
I'm honestly sick of that the Bills and the Eagles are in. Like, I wanted to see something mashed up this season.
Yeah, a little different.
I really did.
I'll tell you, what America wants to see is the Commanders versus the Bills.
That would be.
Put the Commanders in the Super Bowl.
What we're gonna see is probably the Eagles versus the Bills.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think.
I'll tell you, worst case scenario for the NFL, my opinion, is Eagles Chiefs.
Again?
Yeah.
It's a rematch of like 2 years ago.
I think
in
it's-
Arizona. Yeah.
I think that'd be worst case scenario. I really do.
that would be horrible.
I think that'd be a very low rated Super Bowl,
I agree.
except for out of Philly. I mean, Philly will have its
Sure.
best ratings ever.
I agree.
I think
Every other
yeah.
part, no.
Philly will have great ratings. You guys are good.
You guys are a great fan base.
I think the Lions end their 31-year drought. Only the Lions, Browns, Jets, Vikings, Dolphins, Commanders have a longer drought of going to the Super Bowl. It's been 31 years, 7th longest. I think the Bills finally snap it. I think they finally find a way, but it's either going to be like Marcos, it could be a blowout, or it's going to be your classic sweat like we've seen between these two teams in years prior.
Well, it's going to be interesting. Guys, the show's going to be short and sweet, but get ready because our Super Bowl show is going to probably be having Des Bryant live
Throw up the
from
X. Throw up the X.
New
88.
Orleans. It's going to be an interesting show to kick off. We're going to probably be filming that on a Friday, if I had to guess.
Oh, a little Super Bowl Friday.
Friday,
Friday
live
weekend.
show. Maybe we'll have some people there. Maybe we won't. We haven't decided yet. But Des Bryant, we're going to talk about if he caught it or didn't catch it in that game. If you all remember,
He caught it.
Google it.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it, but he caught it.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it that day. I promise you that. Because I had money on that. I was with my wife.
I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I mean, either. It hurt.
I will never forget
I
that
remember
game.
that where I was, yeah.
Green
Me
Bay
too.
game. But guys, it's been a pleasure. Tune in. We love you. We'll talk to you later. And then stay in touch with yourself.